episode 0330 of the TV Tan podcast. And I'm Bill Frost. Over there is who?
Oh, that would be me, Tommy Milagro, still stuck in my bunker because we have nowhere else to fucking go to have a drink unless, you want to be inside and die. But we have a special guest for our 330th episode of the TV Tan podcast. Please introduce yourself, Mr. Guest.
My name's Rebecca Frost. Thank you for having me back.
Hey, Rebecca Frost of the Geek Show podcast is joining us once again, and we're still staying socially distant, especially in the face of all these times, but thank God there is still great TV to be had. As we were talking in the what do they call that room in the Zoom meetings? It's not the green room. It's the waiting area or whatever the fuck they call it.
The lobby?
The lobby?
That's
okay.
The lobby.
Sure, yeah. And what are we drinking this week?
Well, thankfully, not everything has stopped as far as our podcast goes. So we must thank one of our other fine sponsors of the TV Tan podcast, Outlaw Distillery, who brought us today iced rum. And I should be remiss to point out that our distillers, much like our first responders as well as the doctors, they are our greatest heroes because, much like our other sponsors like Sugar House and Ogden Zone, Kirk and Denise over at Outlaw Distillery have been offering hand sanitizers as well as face masks with their logos. So if you do have to stop by in the Midvale area, not only pick yourself up some of their fine beverages, which is, hand sanitizer for the insides, but also pick up one of their face masks and one of their hand sanitizers. But today, I am mixing up Outlaw Distillery spiced rum with some lime juice and a Diet Coke because, somebody's getting the quarantine 15 here into a
gotta
wonderful...
watch our calories.
Yeah, that's right. We're fixing up a nice little Cuba Libre, but of course, as always, Bill Frost is still in the... actually, he's in the Outlaw Studios in the third basement of TV Tan Podcast Productions. And you've got how many pallets of Bohemian Brewery left?
About 3 or 4.
Oh God. You're going to be running out soon, man. Do we need to send some help out to you?
I'll be fine. And now that we got all that out of the way, before I tell you about some new shows that are coming up this week, which is few and far between, Rebecca, I wanted to ask you about two things, not necessarily, one's not necessarily a TV show. First of all, we talked about it here a few weeks ago, and Brie Larson's YouTube thing.
Yes, it's so sweet and wholesome.
Okay, my first impression was I saw her talking about it on Twitter or somewhere like that, and she was saying, "Oh, I just threw this thing together, no big deal." And I watched it. I go, "This is a full-on production. This isn't some DIY thing."
Did she fucking humble brag? Is that what happened? Or
she's Brie Larson. She's got people who she can work with to put these videos together. Yeah. I'm telling you, all she does is she turns on because I'm assuming she's exactly like me. And so what I'm assuming is she turned on her webcam, recorded some stuff after watching thousands of hours of YouTube, like I do, and tried to mess around on what's the program called on Mac? The iMovie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then realized it was too hard, so she probably just reached out to somebody to do it for her, which is exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fine series and all. I was just expecting something a little more lo-fi than that.
Oh yeah, no, because the Brie Larson, if she's going to finally present on a platform, it's going to be like high quality. Here's the thing: is Brie Larson overall as a person, she's very secretive, and so as a celebrity, you don't know much about her. So this is an opportunity for her to really open up, and we get to learn about her. And I don't know, I think it's amazing because there's so much more I want to know about her. But I've just been so intimidated by her because she just stands around so stoic and beautiful.
And she took your job.
So
she took your gig.
What was that?
She took your gig.
Yeah, that's okay.
Are we over that
Well,
now?
here's my question. Here's my question then, Rebecca. As you are our Brie Larson ex here, or sorry, Brie Larson correspondent. Is Brie Larson essentially the feminist answer to Keanu Reeves? Is that what I'm kind of hearing at this point?
No.
I think
No,
Keanu Reeves
what?
is a feminist
No.
answer to Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Yeah, comparing Brie Larson to Keanu Reeves is not fair because Keanu Reeves' whole career has been a joke, and he knows it's been a joke.
So, but I mentioned, you mentioned the stoicism and everything, and lately, since we're in this Keanu stance that I keep hearing about, and you mentioned the stoicism, I'm like, this sounds kind of familiar somehow.
Well, did you watch his Comic-Con? Dang it, I don't remember what he was there for, but he was talking about the cast and the crew of this other movie that he was working on, and all he was doing was raving about everyone that he's ever worked with. And like, what a sincere, cool dude.
Nice.
Was this like recently, or
it was for Comic-Con at home, so it was like a virtual panel that he just did from his couch.
Yeah, haven't had a chance to see virtual Comic-Con, which obviously is the thing to do nowadays, in these troubling times.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Well, what's so funny is San Diego Comic-Con did absolutely nothing to promote their Comic-Con at home. So all of their panels that they put up online have basically no views because they just didn't promote it. How was anybody supposed to know what day or what time or what was even coming to like hop on their computer? If I'm going to change the subject, when I learned that Happy Endings was doing a Zoom quarantine version reunion show, I put it in my calendar and I made sure to watch it. But San Diego Comic-Con, they didn't do anything for their virtual stuff. They didn't promote anything.
And how was the Happy Endings read through?
Oh my God, you guys, it was absolutely incredible. I really dislike quarantine versions of shows.
Oh, yeah.
That they are all trying to do. But the Happy Endings one was just so peak Happy Endings that I wasn't even mad that it was via Zoom. It was just so nice to have new Happy Endings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, before we go on any further here, Rebecca, though, we should clarify for the dozens of listeners that are still tuning into this podcast, if we're mentioning Comic-Con, we're sorry. We should have clarified with the disclaimer at the beginning. We're talking about FanX San Diego.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
That's the thing we should have mentioned before. Sorry, please continue.
No, that's the end of my story.
But getting back to the Brie Larson series for a second, how many episodes have been? I've seen the first one, but I've not gone beyond that yet. How many are there so far?
She's only done 4. Her first one, which is really just like her talking about how she's going to launch a YouTube channel, and she's talked to all these YouTubers about what she should do. Her second one is a tour of her Animal Crossing island because she's huge into Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Which also, if you subscribe to the Geek Show Patreon, you can find my Animal Crossing island tour.
Ooh.
But that's behind the paywall. Her third video, she does an interview. I don't remember the lady's name. And the fourth one, she does a workout with her trainer, and that one was pretty cool.
Okay, in that one, is there any mention of her? She has some sort of faux workout feud with Allison Brie. Apparently, they share the same trainer.
Oh, I think that's true. It's been so long, though. I don't think there's really a feud anymore.
Well, I think it was a fake feud, but obviously I'm behind on that one.
Now, what's the name of this series again? The Brie Larson?
It's just Brie Larson's YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. That's just it. Brie Larson. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
No title is needed. It's just Brie Larson. Or if you wanted to,
Brie. You need one. You don't need one.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to ask you about, have you seen Esther Pavitsky's stand-up special on Comedy Central, Hot for My Name?
No, I've not even heard of this.
Oh, well, you should listen to Brady from Hell sometime. It is Esther Pavitsky is a comedian, actress. She's about 4 feet tall, I think, and she's been on a lot of stuff. You would recognize her if you saw her. And
Oh, yeah. This is that girl from
Alone Together.
What movie? No.
She's always kind of
that movie.
She's always kind of the sidekick.
Yeah, she plays the really weird girl in
Everything.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I can see it. I can visualize it.
Hang on. Let me, since we don't have our producer with us, La Chai Girl, because she's now gone off into the COVID wasteland.
Dollface, yes. That's one of the many shows she's done. Anyway, the stand-up special dropped a few weeks ago on Comedy Central. I recommend looking it up because she did something different. It's like part behind the scenes of life with her mom and dad, and then also split up with stand-up segments. And basically, she's telling her parents, like, you must have given me a terrible childhood if I'm a comedian, because that's what happens. And her parents are like, well, that's horse shit. You had a fine childhood. And so it's basically the segments are her throwing her parents under the bus for something that apparently didn't happen, because they're perfectly nice people.
Oh, how funny.
I would recommend looking it up.
Okay, I've got to add it to my list.
And when you do your eventual stand-up special, I hope you do at least half as good a job as throwing your parents under the bus as Esther Povitsky did.
Are you laying a challenge down right now? Is that what I'm hearing, sir? Do we really want to put that on the...
Well, I know Rebecca's going to get her stand-up special before you do, Tommy. So therefore, I just want to make sure we have a plan in place.
Light them up.
We're still waiting for Tommy's stand-up special, Brown and Belligerent, to be bought up by Netflix, because apparently everybody gets one, but Tommy.
Right.
Tommy, you're more likely to get a stand-up special than me now, because I'm a white girl. Like, they don't just hand us comedy specials.
Well, actually, this is how the how it all works out. So basically, the white male comedians, they're always the first one to get it. Then it's the black male comedians. Then it's the black female comedians, and sometimes the white female comedians, because the sisterhood. Then brown people, and it just sort of evolves down from there. It's a descending order of comedy is what I'm trying to point out here. And sometimes you can kind of factor in a ratio of gayness to funniness. It just kind of depends. Oh, but if you're Australian, you just shoot right to the fucking top there. Which, by the way, have you seen Jim Jeffries' Intolerant, by the way?
Not yet, but that's so funny you mention Australians, because I started watching this YouTube channel that is, I've only subscribed to it and kept watching it because they're 3 Australian boys and they're just so wholesome. They're all they do is their whole gimmick is trick shots, and it's not like they're doing anything world changing. But their humor, it's not crass, it's not foul, it's not vulgar, it's just so wholesome, and their accents triple the humor. So Australia's got something going on.
Well, yeah, it's got Hemingway's, sorry, no, not Hemingway's, Hemmingsworth's, excuse me.
What is this?
Hemsworth.
What is this series called? What was the name of it?
Oh, the YouTube channel is just called How Ridiculous.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm not even kidding when I tell you it is literally just something dumb that I put on to have in the background. It's just these guys doing trick shots and dropping things from 45-meter towers.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I do have. I'm sorry, Bill. Did you have a story to bring to our fine listeners here?
No, I just wanted to know if Rebecca's watching anything else interesting, because in our text exchange, what was the reality dating show? Love it.
I asked if you needed a married at first sight expert.
I was trying to remember which one it was. Yeah, tell us about
Married at First Sight.
Tell us about, all I know is from these shows is what I see on The Soup. That's the only way I have any insight into these shows whatsoever. So I'd like to know a little more.
Married at First Sight. Yeah, Married at First Sight. It isn't one of those dumb dating reality shows. It's a little bit more serious.
Okay.
And everything you need to know is right there in the title. So all of these people sign up, right? And there are these experts who match people together to be married at first sight, and they only meet each other for the first time at the altar. And then you follow them through their honeymoon, and then you follow them for like between 8 to 10 weeks. And then at the end of the, like, air quotes, experiment, they say, okay, you have to choose, do you want to stay married or do you want to get divorced? And it's very, very exciting. You get way into the couples. And
so basically you get the free trial period, and then you decide if you want to commit after that.
Uh-huh.
And how does this compare to 90 Day Fiancé?
I haven't watched that one yet.
Okay.
But I want to, because I know there's that guy who looks like a thumb.
Well, there's two things I'm going to say based off of what I'm hearing about Married at First Sight. So, number one, the next time we do a session like this, we need to do like a Zoom meeting where we can have Melissa Merlot, our reality show correspondent, join in and really get in depth on this. Number two, based on the endorsement of Married at First Sight, I'm going to have to give this 4 out of 5 Merlots rating for this show.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm hearing out of this. This being a watch harder with Merlots.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
the new season just started on Lifetime, so you can pop right in real quick.
And so some new stuff happening this week. Only have like 4 new shows premiering this week that are worth mentioning, and they're all dropping on Thursday, August 6th. The first one being Seth Rogen's new movie, An American Pickle, on HBO Max. Do you know anything about this?
Oh.
Anybody know anything about this?
Have you not watched the trailer for it?
I've watched the trailer, yeah. I was just wondering if anybody else...
Oh, then yeah.
Okay.
I only read about this in the Daily Mail, but Rebecca, why don't you take it, and then I'll kind of add what I am aware of.
Well, so this guy in like the 1800s, I want to say?
1920.
1920. Oh, jeepers. Works at a pickling plant, falls into a pickling vat, reawakens 2019, I can assume. And Seth Rogen is his great something or other.
Yeah, Seth Rogen in dual roles. He's the original, the pickled man as Herschel Greenbaum, and he meets up with his great grandson Ben Greenbaum. Both of them played by Joe Rogan. Not Joe Rogan. That would be terrible.
Just Seth Rogen.
I don't want that show. No. God,
no. Do not endorse that fucktard any more than necessary.
No. This is Seth Rogen. He's the good Rogan. And
right.
So basically the elder Rogan, who's actually the same age, teaches the modern day Rogan, who's a computer programmer, teaches him a thing or two about life. Oh, and also Herschel, the original from 1920, his wife back then, who of course did not live for 100 years, is played by the actress who plays Shiv on Succession.
Oh, okay.
That's for the Succession nerds out there. I'm guessing neither one of you are Succession nerds, but that's a big deal.
I'm a 31-year-old white girl. I have no interest in Succession.
I don't know.
I'm a
it's pretty dark.
45-year-old
pretty funny.
Mexican German.
So that's premiering. That was supposed to be a theatrical release, but of course none of that's happening right now. And also premiering on Thursday on CBS All Access, Star Trek Lower Decks, an animated series about the support crew of the USS Cerritos.
So cute.
Yeah, this is from one of the people behind Rick and Morty, and it's got a very Rick and Morty look and feel to it. And it's basically, here's the people who take care of sanitation and paperwork way down in the lower
all
decks.
The red shirts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
The ones that didn't get killed. How much is Dan Harmon involved in this?
Not at all. No.
And J.J. Abrams, he's staying the fuck away?
Yeah. No lens flares.
It's only just so until Discovery. What's the other one?
Picard?
That's going to feature Christopher Pike? Or
I have no idea what you're talking about. All I really care about is Picard. That's my Star Trek.
Yeah, that's kind of my go-to Star Trek right now.
Yeah, so that's on CBS All Access. If you have that, here's a service you probably don't have. Sundance Now. Tim Minchin. If you're familiar with Tim Minchin, he's a musician, comic actor, Australian, I believe, or British. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But he's got long hair. He looks like Jesus, really. He looks like a ginger Jesus, is what he looks like. And You would recognize him if you saw him. He's sort of a comedy drama called Upright about he's driving from one end of Australia to the other to deliver an upright piano to his dying mother.
Again with the Australians.
And along the way, he picks up a teen runaway, and heartfelt wackiness ensues.
Does it have to be heartfelt?
I don't know, but
I don't want to feel. Can I not feel?
yeah, one particularly wacky review I read for this thing says it's like a cross between Parks and Rec and Fleabag, which I don't know how that happens, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. And the last one, that one is on Sundance now. None of you have it. Nobody has it. It's a streaming service. Peacock has a new debut coming up on Thursday. It's called Hitmen, but it's a comedy about two older women who are hit women.
Oh,
Just imagine Grace and Frankie killing people.
Well, okay.
Now, quick question. Okay, and I can
Much
tell,
excited about that. Much excited. I can hear
Rebecca is pretty much sixes on this one. I can tell in her voice. So, my only question is this show going to feature Bret the Hitman Hart?
No.
Because that would just... Why not?
Are you trying to make a segue?
No, I'm not trying to make a segue. I'm just saying this would be great, or at the very least, just add Fatty into the Hitman mix.
I'm going to make it a segue.
You're going to make it a segue?
It's sports with Tommy Milagro. Go, team.
From the Sports Desk of the TV Jam podcast, through no fault of our own, we deliver to you only the sport of professional wrestling, still in COVID edition. Again, the sport of pro wrestling has been going through some troubling times. Copyright. And we turn to NWA Power, which I know, Rebecca, you don't pay attention to wrestling. However, I'm going to mention one thing. Maybe I mentioned it before. I can't remember. Go onto YouTube and go to NWA because they do have they had some segments called Girl Power that featured the women of wrestling for the NWA, the National Wrestling. And they got into some very deep topics for the time. They haven't, if you want something to really watch, that would be a great place to stop because the 3 episodes they had dealt with cyberbullying to women empowerment to Black Lives Matter. Stuff you don't see WWE talking all that much. Just saying, WWE. Yeah. Honestly, that is something to watch because, honestly, they haven't had a lot of new content. And for a while, they were trying to deliver something called Carnyland because they don't have the resources to actually wrestle, unlike All Elite Wrestling or WWE, which, according to Taz, WWE is a bit of a sloppy shop these days with the COVID cases, but I digress. However, Nick Aldis, the NWA heavyweight champion, recently released on Twitter that he pretty much stated the obvious that they've kind of lost some momentum since the COVID pandemic hit. But he stated, and I believe this is on Twitter, according to RingsideNews.com, he states, quote, that the fans who took a chance on a bold new strategy on focusing on one match, one champion, one challenger, and one prize, the fans who sold out the GPB, the Georgia studios, for NWA Power and the most authentic alternative in the business, the fans who stuck their flags on the ground on my island and said, this is where I want to be a wrestling fan the most. I want you to know I appreciate it. I have no intention of letting you down. As of right now, and he says, together we'll find that momentum again. And I'm bringing this up because there are rumors saying that NWA Power may shut down, which is owned by Billy Corgan. But there have been nothing official stated that NWA Power is closing down, even though they've been hit by not just COVID, but also they lost their vice president, Dave Lagana, to the hashtag Speaking Out movement, which, Rebecca, I'm bringing this up for you because Speaking Out is pro wrestling's answer to hashtag Me Too. And Dave Lagana was featured as one of those stories. Think of it as pro wrestling's answer to Louis C.K. but he stepped out of that role. He has not been heard from since. There's a lot of questions. Nothing's been confirmed. I've been trying to find any stories on NWA, if and when they will resume activities. More on that story as that develops. Which brings us now to All Elite Wrestling. And this is why I'm segueing to this, because All Elite Wrestling has had a lot of wrestlers come in to their wrestling fold, which they can do, and they can still wrestle, which is out at the Daily Plaza in, of all places, Jacksonville, Florida, because they're essential workers. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for taking the WWE's, the Linda McMahon's money to, make sure wrestlers are important. Even though it's the whole Trump thing, you'll figure it out.
Over the last couple of weeks, I noticed a wrestler from a different league who has turned up.
Well, actually,
but only there's probably more than one. But I noticed one. Diamanta.
Say that again.
Diamanta. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Diamante.
No,
yes.
It's okay. It's okay. You're not.
I'm super white.
Not brown.
I'm super white. Diamante, who is from WoW previously. She used to wrestle under the name Adrenaline, and now she's Diamante over on AEW.
Well, and she was actually Diamante in Impact Wrestling, where Santino and Ortiz of the Inner Circle used to be, which I'm going to come back to in a minute. But yeah, Diamante has featured in matches with All Elite Wrestling, as has Eva Lee's, formerly of Lucha Underground. But here's the interesting part, is that Eddie Kingston of NWA Power recently wrestled against the American Nightmare, Cowdy, for the TNT Championship. He lost that match. However, was signed to a contract to All Elite. So, as it stands right now, of the wrestlers that were with NWA Power, it's Eddie Kingston, Ricky Starks, and Colt Cabana, who are now in the All Elite fold. And this is, and also on the AEW Dynamite, we saw the former Zack Ryder of WWE, now known as Matt Cardona, his real name, come to make the save against Cody Rhodes. They are showing that they are trying to grow amidst this pandemic. I would say if anybody wants to catch up on All Elite Wrestling, they need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's All Elite Wrestling, so you can see AEW Dark, and also catch All Elite Wrestling Dynamite on Wednesdays, even though amidst this pandemic, we can't hold it at Broovies anymore because, we can't have people dying. That would just be silly. Also, going back to Impact Wrestling for a minute here, they too have had an influx of talent released by WWE that are making their impacts, pun intended, in the sport of professional wrestling. Among them, Luke Gallows and the Machine Gun, Carl Anderson, have featured heavily into tag team matches. And let's take note of this, Bill Frost. They not only have their own podcast, which is called Talkin' Shop Mania, and they've also featured a beer called Talkin' Shop Mania, but they also, and this is the part that kills me, we're on Fight TV doing a podcast edition of their podcast. People can subscribe for $14.99.
Not a sponsor.
You telling me a podcast I gotta pay for?
Well, this is kind of like a special deal for them, but yeah. And I would say, yeah, that's kind of a stupid thing. But then again, how many of us are doing Patreons? That's not TV10 Podcast.
Not
we
us.
Need to explore this.
Not us.
Yeah. And finally, this, circling back to AEW, Chris Jericho, Le Champion, the demo god, as he calls himself. I'm bringing up two stories because this week on Wednesdays, AEW Dynamite will feature him in a, and I use the term loosely, debate against freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. And just to paint a word picture, Rebecca, Orange Cassidy is basically a white dude with blonde hair wearing not just acid washed jeans and a denim jacket, acid washed denim jacket into the ring. He is a very, how can I put this? He is a very lazy dude in terms of wrestling, but has captured the imagination of fans in AEW. And he has been crowned, and I kid you not, by Jim Ross as the king of sloth style. So it's going to be interesting.
That's a lot of explanation.
Yeah, I know.
You just
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
There can't be. There can't be.
Oh, yes, there is. The debate is going to be moderated by, of all fucking people, Eric Bischoff, formerly of WCW.
Still alive?
Still alive and still very white-haired. My fucking God.
I was hoping for Megyn Kelly, but okay.
Well, you know, if Tony Khan can throw money at her, that would be wonderful.
She works cheap these days.
What's that?
She works cheap these days. She's got nothing going on.
By cheap, you mean by less than 100, by more than 100,000? Is that what you mean?
Probably, yeah.
But the last thing that I'm going to bring up is that also, in addition to that and his podcast Talk is Jericho and his Jericho Cruise, which we mentioned last week was pushed to October of next year, he is now, he's also going to be in a new film called Kilroy Was Here, directed by Kevin Smith.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so there's I believe there's trailers out for it, and it's in post-production according to IMDb. But, yeah, feature the demo god to feature heavily into your pandemic life, because it's sports.
It's sports, so tell me more. Go team. Yeah.
And that sigh by Rebecca, thank God it's fucking over.
I wasn't
You're
sighing,
welcome.
I was doing the audience.
She was helping out.
Okay. Thank
I'm
you.
helping.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not always a dick.
Sorry, I couldn't distinguish between your exasperated sigh and crowd noise.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, and now we're going to tell the people what we believe they should be watching harder. Any recommendations for people that they might not be hip to?
Well, first of all, before we were going live on air here, Rebecca and I were talking in the lobby area about what you should be seeing on TikTok a little bit harder, especially if you're going to have to pee in the bathroom. Rebecca, if you want to take that.
I mean, if I were to pitch every TikTok video that I think is worth watching, we're going to be here for a while. But the one that I sent, you earlier, it's just a Star Wars, and they're dancing.
Well, I'm only bringing that up because, you know, if you take away our TikTok Orange Zero, only outlaws will be watching TikTok.
Oh yeah,
we're making us more outlaws.
We're supposed to have a TikTok ban. Oh yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
As far as any TV shows you think people should know about, anybody?
I haven't watched anything new. I started rewatching Winona Earp.
Good.
Because my fiance hasn't seen it, and we needed a new show to watch.
Okay.
What?
While you're doing Winona Earp, when you eventually get caught up to the current season, the current fourth season, it premiered last week. I would like you to gauge the joke acceleration rate between the first season and where we are now, because I swear to God, the jokes are. I think there are more jokes and one-liners per minute in the new season than the first couple of seasons combined. I mean, they're really going all in on the comedy this time around.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
So I haven't seen the first season for a while, but I know they joked around a little bit, but they were mostly serious in the first season, and it's just they're going full comedy now.
Did I talk about Scary Busy Pet Judge with you?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last time around, but any new developments there?
No, I just think about it every day.
Okay. All right. My recommendation would also be Winona Earp, the new season, or if you haven't, you should get caught up. I believe it's on Netflix, the previous seasons. And also,
seasons 1 through 3 are there. I know that.
Also, I've been watching a lot of reruns of The Office. They're doing a lot of them on Comedy Central and a couple of other channels. And so I'll just watch.
You're not a millennial.
I know, right? But I'll be watching it, and I've come to the conclusion that the real hero of this series was David Wallace. That guy put up with so much shit, and yet he kept the branch open for some reason.
Yep.
David Wallace, the long-suffering hero of The Office. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. Yeah, just think on that. Maybe I'll write an essay for the New Yorker about it. They won't accept it.
Appreciate your droll humor.
They won't accept it, but I'll give it to them. And also tonight, as we're recording live on the air, the finale of "I'll Be Gone in the Dark" on HBO.
Oh heck, I gotta add that to my list.
Oh yeah, it's really good. It's the dual story of why do I always blank on her name? Michelle
the author's name? Michelle McNamara.
Yeah, Michelle McNamara.
Patton Oswalt's late wife.
Yes.
Did you read the book? The book is horrifying. It's so scary.
Yeah, I think
it's so well written, but
I don't think they get into the horror.
She died.
Yeah.
Yeah, she died, while writing it, and so the book just kind of ends, which is so devastating. But it's so good.
Yeah.
I recommend the book if you haven't read it.
Yeah, the series is pretty interesting in that it's both the story of the Golden State Killer, and it's also her story of covering this, going from her being an early blogger to an LA Magazine article leading up to the book deal. So it's kind of like, two stories at once happening simultaneously. And yeah, it's really cool.
I would even go so far as to say, pair up "I'll Be Gone in the Dark" with Patton Oswalt's "Annihilation," which really talks about the death of his wife. That is the whole basis of "I'll Be Gone in the Dark." I think that might be.
Yeah, he's interviewed quite a bit for this series, and some of his stand-up bits talking about her are included in the "I'll Be Gone in the Dark" TV series, about how they met and about after she died also. And so it's pretty comprehensive about her life, and the Golden State Killer story is kind of secondary to the whole thing. They don't go in extremely deep on it. It's mostly her story, really. And
as for me, as I'm still in lockdown here, trying to study so I can actually be, what's the word again? Successful. I
think the word is employable.
Yeah, that too.
Or I think the other term is not living in a cardboard box.
Yeah, that is kind of
all that rumbling you hear in the background is Tommy moving around inside of a cardboard refrigerator box where he currently lives. That's why it's so noisy.
Please, I was trying to open up the window so I could get the sun in here because air conditioning.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cardboard boxes don't have windows.
Right. Well, not if you don't have a knife to cut it out.
Okay.
You gotta think about these things.
So what are you watching?
Well, lately I watched, I binged through season 2 of The Umbrella Academy, which I have to say, this is better than season 1, especially for the soundtrack. Have either of you had a chance to get through Umbrella Academy yet?
Not season 2.
No, I forgot about it, that it came out this week.
But it's all right. There's just too many shows for now. I will say season 2 is probably a lot better than season 1 because this time the Umbrella Academy is trying to avert disaster as it relates to as it focuses on the plot of the Kennedy assassination in Dallas and probably has a stronger soundtrack. And I'm going to say something that's a little bit blasphemous. The soundtrack for Umbrella Academy season 2 is probably a lot better than Hulu's High Fidelity.
Oh, what?
What?
I know.
Well, they can only draw in the late 50s and early 60s. How good could it be?
Honest to God, I didn't think it was possible. I'm here to tell you, Gerard Way, if he had some influence into the soundtrack, motherfucker knew what he was doing.
Okay.
That is, I will leave it to our listeners, all of you to figure out. But I will also add in there, because I've been binging this a bit, Burn Notice. I'm in the middle of season 3.
You know,
I
I've watched the whole series of Burn Notice. I've never considered revisiting it. Is it worth revisiting?
This is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard somebody recommend Burn Notice as well.
Well, we used to back in the day, but
back when it was a thing, yeah. But I've never considered revisiting it. Are you learning anything upon going back?
I am learning a few things. Among the obvious guest stars, like Trisha Helfer from Battlestar Galactica, and the fact that at the time we thought we'd never see Bruce Campbell in Ash versus Evil Dead, and we were happy with what it is. The man looks out fucking standing in Hawaiian shirts. But I noticed in at least up to season 2, a lot of other guest stars that really made themselves to be big names. Among them was Michael B. Jordan of Creed and Black Panther. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, and Jeffrey Donovan, still steely-eyed, still clenched jaw, and Gabrielle Anwar.
Yeah, at which point does Fiona, played by Gabrielle Anwar, lose that Irish accent?
Let's see. So the pilot featured her with the Irish accent, and then after that in season 1, she just went straight American.
So
it was silly because she was English. So
I just remember that. It's like all of a sudden the accent is gone.
Yeah,
it's kind of like like the Scarlet Witch in the Avengers. The accent just disappeared.
Exactly. Oh, which does remind me. Have we heard anything more about developments with WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Falcon and Winter Soldier has been delayed. I know that. I don't know about WandaVision.
WandaVision's still on track, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll get maybe at least one of them.
That would be nice.
Oh, and we should also mention this as far as the shows you really need to watch harder. United Shades of America.
Oh, yeah.
That is the big one. And the most noticeable thing about United Shades is that before the show begins, our man, W. Kamau Bell, a supporter of TV10 Podcast.
In our imaginations, yes.
Just let people think what they want to think. W. Kamau Bell comes on the show and said, "Hey, just so you know, we recorded this before all this pandemic hit, and it's some of it still is relevant, but the things where we're saying people are getting hit hard now, well, it might be a little bit harder. So whatever you can to help is appreciated. Enjoy the show."
Yeah.
Those are the big ones I've been watching right now as I try to make myself employable again.
And so want to leave it to our dozens of listeners. Reach out to us on Twitter and the Facebook and the Gmail, all TV10 Podcast. And I want to put it to a vote to you, yay or nay. Should TV10 take the rest of the summer off because there's fuck all happening on TV? Just take a summer vacation and resume in September. Tell us yes or no. What do you think about that?
Actually, I'm going to actually jump in on this one.
Are you voting?
At least for next week, we should record one more because we do need to talk about the Emmys and the Emmy nominations.
No, we don't. It's garbage.
Well, one of our listeners in the listener bag sent in something.
Oh, now I'm hearing about this?
Again, we don't have our producer. She went Chola Furiosa on us.
So what someone wants to know about the Emmys?
Well, basically, why there's not a lot of Latino actors or actresses being considered for the Emmys.
Yeah, I don't think we have an answer for that. But they
sent us a Daily Beast article on that. At the very least, let's just ignore it.
And my biggest outrage that Rhea Seehorn from Better Call Saul was not nominated. That was my major outrage there. There were some good nominations. Outrage on my part, yeah. And
At the very least, next week, let's have Emmy outrage. Let's just do that.
yeah, we could do that. We could do Emmy outrage. Rebecca, if you got something to promote, where should people find it?
Oh, something to promote. Okay, hold on. I can think of something. RebeccaSfrost.com. That's where all my stuff is,
Okay.
I guess.
Promotional machine.
I don't have anything going on.
Actually,
well, you do have the animal.
Let me help out.
Yeah, do have Animal Crossing.
I have the what?
You do have your Animal Crossing tour on Geek Show Patreon.
That's the Geek Show Patreon, yeah. Oh, on Friday nights, my friend Tom, he does this thing called D&D One Shot, and it's just a stream of a bunch of people playing D&D. I played this Friday. I had to leave halfway through. I got violently ill, but it was a blast. So if you like watching people play D&D, he does it every week. I'm going to be, I think, next Friday and the Friday after that. I think I'll be on those. But
okay.
if you just like watching D&D on the internet.
All right. Where do you find that?
Fabulous question. Somewhere on Twitch.
Okay. You'll find it, people.
Yeah,
actually,
I'll retweet it.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, just know, Brie Larson, if you're listening to this fine podcast, Rebecca Frost is your number one fan. Try to feature her into any of your YouTube series. This is all we implore, because we know you pay attention to this podcast above all other podcasts, because, we don't.
And I'm not desperate.
No, not at all. She's a wonderful person, as opposed to, let's just say Joe Rogan. Just saying.
If you had to compare me to anybody, at least it's not Joe Rogan.
Yes.
we got.
that's the bad Rogan.
We got that going for us, at least. Yeah.
Right. Seth Rogen is the good Rogan, which I think I just named our episode. The good Rogan.
The Good Rogan, yeah. And my promotion, find it at billfrost.tv or slugmag.com. My August edition of the Content Shifter is all about movies released during lockdown, all streaming video on demand. I rounded up, I think it was about 10 of the absolute worst that you should avoid, headlined by Money Plane.
What?
Yeah. Don't watch the movie Money Plane. Just look up the reviews of Money Plane, and they'll give you all you need to know.
I'll take this one. Basically, Money Plane features WWE wrestler the Edge, Adam Copeland. So that's all you need to know.
No, you need to know that it stars Kelsey Grammer chewing so much scenery that I don't know how he could digest it all. It's Con Air meets Ocean's 11 meets about a $30 budget and a weekend shoot. Yeah.
Well, it's only because we don't have Kevin Spacey to kick around anymore, so
yeah.
Kelsey Grammer is TV's answer.
Yeah, well, when it goes live, I will send you my review, Rebecca. It'll tell you everything you need to know about it, and you do not need to see this movie.
Fabulous.
Okay. All right, that's going to be it. TV10 Podcast, episode 0330. Yeah. Want to thank Outlaw Distillery and all of the other fine alcohol sponsors we have. They are...
that would be Sugar House Distillery. That would be Ogden's Own Distillery, the fine purveyors of the Five Lives vodka, of the Porter's Fire, of the Madame Patarini gin, of the Underground, which is better than Jägermeister. We're going to endorse it that way. And, of course, the pallets and pallets of Bohemian Brewery that is slowly dwindling at the TV Time and podcast studios. Please send your pallets to Bill Frost out in Sosala.
Thoughts and prayers and beer.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers and beer. And, of course, if you have to pair any of these things, stop by in downtown Salt Lake. Stop by and tell Ivy, TV10 Podcast says, hook us up. And more importantly, wear a mask when you're in downtown Salt Lake. Yeah, I'm looking at you when you're not wearing a mask, you vile person.
All right. Say goodnight, America.
Light him up.
Say goodnight.
Good night, America. Good night.
And drink up, America, because I think I need to go watch TikTok on the toilet because it's time to...